let's just start right in with William Dafoe's
what do they
massive
say?
penis.
Oh,
Right.
no.
Does he have a massive penis?
It is uncomfortably large, is what people describe.
Oh, people have described. You
Well,
haven't
like,
actually seen firsthand.
It is actually in the version that we watched last night of Body of Evidence.
Wow, there's not a lot of male full frontal in movies.
It
oddly
peeks out.
It's oddly not full frontal. I think that there was a scene that it shouldn't have been in, but they didn't catch it.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll have to watch it. I don't want to describe it on air.
I've not
but
seen this movie,
You
so.
should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, Jim.
All right,
Next
I'm going to
on
bring
the
this back into focus here. So, hey, welcome Disturbanites or Disturbies or maybe Suburbanites or
I like Disturbanites.
Disturbanites or Suburbies. How about
phrase
just
is
Burbies
born.
or Burbites? No, I don't have an opening for this yet, so I'm just kind of
Disturbanites.
yeah.
That's rocking.
I do like your jingle in the beginning, though. I like. when
Would you want the Christmas jingle in the front of this one, or do you want the?
Is it specifically Christmas or? Is
Well,
it,
this
There's two.
I've
okay.
I've got the kind of the hip, just non. Well, it's secular, the secular jingle, non-Christmas, which you're more than welcome to have on the front, or the Christmas jingle. It's your choice.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
didn't know
I
there's
think we are
choices.
fully in the holiday season now.
It's,
Yeah.
I agree.
it's
It is
true.
time for the
Yeah.
We'll play them both
non-gender denominational holiday jingle.
Jingle.
Yes.
All right, I'll put the holiday intro on the
Thank you.
and outro on this episode. So, whatever the case, thanks for finding us and taking the time to listen to another fantastic episode of Disturbin the Burbs.
Yeah.
As always, sitting in with me is my talented wife, lovely and talented. I forgot lovely.
Thank you.
The hostess with the biggest brown eyes, Jennifer Sharon.
That's me.
Yeah. And today we're quite lucky to be sharing the mics with a couple of very talented individuals, Kim and Bobby Arispe, or is it Arispe, or is it how actually do you pronounce your last name?
It depends on like.
on how Mexican you want to get with this name. Yeah.
Arispe.
How about
Arispe.
you go and then
Okay.
I say Arispe.
All right. Kim will provide the white version.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Arispe.
There you go.
And then
I'm
I can't roll my R's, so.
Robert Arispe.
Robert Arispe. Do you have like some sort of Hispanic blood
I
in,
do,
in
yeah.
the background?
Yeah.
Only
mine.
half.
Just half.
Half,
Just
so
half.
it's not Roberto.
No, his dad is actually.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast about discovering I'm not actually a junior.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
His dad
Okay.
is Roberto and he's Robert, so technically.
Not a junior.
he's
really
not
a
a
junior,
junior.
Yeah,
right?
I want to ditch that junior.
Ditch the
I hope your
junior.
dad's not listening. That might hurt his feelings.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think he'll listen.
No.
Okay.
We're not actually here to talk about your last name, but that's okay. That's very
it's a nice
interesting because I've
anecdote.
always actually wondered. But the real reason we're behind the mics today is we're actually here to talk about cocktails.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's something that, of course,
like to talk about.
we like to talk about cocktails. We usually have this little bit every episode where we sing, "Hey, what you drinking?" And usually it's Palomas. So,
And guess what?
guess what?
Spoiler.
yeah, tonight is absolutely no different. But we're actually
We have a reason.
Yeah, we have a reason because there's a fabulous, shiny, beautiful new cocktail book that Kim has written and published called Liberal Libations. And it is now available in fine online retailers such as Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble.
Also, you could get it directly from me at liberallibations.com.
.com, all right?
Little plug.
And so that brings us to what are we drinking tonight? I'm actually drinking a Paloma from the actual Liberal Libations book. So that Kim made tonight. So I'm going to actually have a sip of that. What are you drinking, Jen?
I'm drinking your version.
Oh, we did have kind of a Paloma smackdown.
We did have a smackdown.
I noticed that mine kind of got pushed to the side.
I mean.
They were very, very nice. Took a couple of sips of my Paloma,
I
and then
fully finished mine.
Finished it.
I think she took a sip when I wasn't looking. She dumped it down the sink.
That is absolutely
And
not
I
what
finished
happened.
theirs. Theirs is a little on the spicy side for me, but
Oh,
was-
it's so good.
you can tell it's a fancy version of a
Yeah,
Paloma.
it is. I don't even know that ours belongs in the same category, but both are delicious.
Only because we do have one, secret ingredient that's cool. But other than that, our ingredients are kind of pedestrian.
Yeah, and those of you that have been listening to the multitude of episodes that we have so far, all three of them, but you've been wondering what's in the Paloma that we make.
Oh, that's right.
We'll actually be posting the recipe this time
Say
around.
though, you should tell it.
Yeah, the secret recipe, in case you guys have been wondering, it's hibiscus syrup. So that's kind of the special thing, our secret ingredient.
Yeah.
Kim's made a Paloma tonight, and it's got a secret ingredient as well that's kicking my ass, and it's so awesome. Tell us about the Paloma that we're drinking.
Yeah, so I like to infuse jalapenos into the tequila for a little bit of spice. I think the recipe in the book actually calls for the simple syrup to have jalapenos, but you could go either way with it. So, yeah, I like a little spice.
It's very tasty. You can
And the
totally
salt-
taste.
The salt garnish has something in it, spicy,
Oh, no,
right?
the salt, it's just Himalayan sea salt. Yeah, just like the pink sea salt, but I like the pink. It's kind of pretty.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say, I think that, I mean, and I say this in the book a lot, it doesn't really matter what as long as you like to drink it, who cares, right? Like, so
Who cares?
I love
That's
your
right.
version
You can be
as well.
confident knowing that I love his Palomas.
It's delicious, yeah.
I don't feel emasculated at all
Okay.
for you
And yours
not
is
liking
so,
or liking my Paloma.
what I love about
I
yours
like
is
Paloma.
the hibiscus just makes it so beautiful. It's very like you guys can't see this, but it's very like reddish pink. It's very nice. It's really pretty to look at.
We captured it on the photos on the phone,
Yes.
so we'll post those up on the website afterwards. I have a feeling that Kim might Instagram these as well. So,
I definitely will for sure do that.
and Bobby, I assume you're drinking a Paloma as well.
I've got a Paloma
got 'em both there.
in each hand.
Oh,
right now.
he's double fisting
Yeah,
it.
we are
awesome.
going back and forth, just comparing and contrasting all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we may have to pause this at some point to get a refill, which I'm not opposed to. So shall we just jump right in?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right. First off, I kind of wanted to talk about your blog,
Okay.
Random Acts of Comfort, because I feel that this probably kind of leads into the book a little bit. So tell me how long that's been around.
That has been around for probably, let's see, we've been in Seattle for 6 years. And actually, I want to tell you how it started. So we moved here away from all of our family and friends, and we're like, let's start a blog about our lives so our family feels connected. And so we started doing that, and then we realized nobody read it.
Oh.
Nobody.
My parents would be like, what did you do this weekend? I'm like, well, I blogged all about it. Oh. So like, okay,
What's a blog now?
Yeah, exactly.
scratch that. So I really turned it. First, it was like some cocktail recipes, and then some just like breakfast or dinner or appetizer recipes. And then I started really getting a passion for the cocktails, and then that kind of really took over. I do still have other things on there, or like craft ideas or whatever. But it's really, and there's some travel stuff as well. But it's really just all the things that we love to do together and that fill our lives. And so the cocktails really took like the focus and the forward. And so then I started, making cocktails for parties and for coworkers and different things. And everyone was like, I want this recipe. You should write a book. And then that's kind of where it just eventually landed.
Okay. I was wondering where the idea for the book came along,
Yeah.
and it was really just kind of a my thought was you've already got the website, and there's a lot of cocktail recipes on there. Why not just put all the recipes on the website?
Yeah.
Was there a defining moment where you decided, hey, if you're like me, I'll probably answer it for you right now, but if you're like me, I love tactile, right? I love the feeling of a book. And that's why it's like a no-brainer for me to pick up something like your book. Your book is a no-brainer. People pick up the book, all right?
It's gorgeous.
It
for
is
one thing.
gorgeous, yes. The photography is fabulous, Bobby.
Thank you.
Yes. But that's kind of, I love the tactile. Is that kind of why you wanted to put this out? Or
That's part of it, but I have always wanted to publish a book. I remember being like a very young child sitting at my mom's typewriter, like typing up stories.
Yeah.
And I just always really, really wanted to publish something. And I never really knew what it was going to be. I'm not like by trade like a writer necessarily, even though I really like to do it in college and things like that, and then in my career. But I just knew I wanted to publish something. And at first I was like, maybe it'll just be a book of pictures or whatever. I don't know. And then this just kind of all came together. Like people actually said, I would buy a book with your recipes. And so it was just kind of a light bulb moment at that point.
Sure.
And I did really want something tactile. I really like using cookbooks and cocktail books. And,
We do too.
Yeah, you know, it's different than like going to a website and like scrolling on your iPad or whatever. There's just something really beautiful about it. And I actually collect signed copies of cookbooks. That's like really my thing.
cool.
Wow.
Like if I get it and it doesn't have the signature, I'm like, hey, well, when is the chef going to be here? Or I'll only buy it if there's a signature or whatever. But it's a very personal thing, I think, in this sort of digital age. I think it's just something that I continue to hold on to.
Yeah, speaking of the digital age, I think that's been another big element. And we're both, creatives for different brands, and we lead design teams, and all day long we're creating a lot of digital stuff and emails and websites, and it's like it's everything that's kind of not tangible, and it's this was a nice creative project. Once kind of Kim kind of got the idea, let's do a cocktail book, and to build something tangible and physical and see and do a creative project for yourself was just something that was like, yes, it's not for a client for a deadline, but we could just build it and craft it how we wanted.
Yeah. So what was your process like in putting the book together? And that's now from a creative perspective, I know you understand process, right?
Yeah.
But I know that it was a labor of love that took several years for you to put together. How did you, I'm curious of where you started putting this together. Did you have a long-term vision? Did you have a goal that I'm going to hit it by this date? What was the process?
At first, there wasn't like a necessary goal of like I have to have it done in like a year or 2 years or whatever. But it was just kind of a thing that was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And at first, I felt like I really was hands down wanted to publish with a publisher, get an agent, find me a publisher. And then when I started really digging into that, because I just thought it would be easier, right? Like, you do this part, you hand it off. When I really started digging into that, I realized that I would lose complete creative control. And as someone who is a designer and who has a real big investment in the way I want it to look and the way I want the photography to look, I then decided that, okay, I actually want to do this myself. So I don't want to say wasted, but I actually spent about 6 months creating a book proposal when I thought that I wanted to go and get an agent and a publisher.
Right.
And it's not wasted because all of that information is actually really useful in, how you're going to market your book and all of that. And it really helped me to solidify my vision and my goals and why I'm really doing this and what makes me different. I think after that, and then when that turning point of when I realized, no, I actually really do want to self-publish, that is when it really lit a fire under me to, I want to get this done. And that's where things really sped up. And I finished it in about like a year after that.
Wow. Okay.
Self-publishing has gotten huge.
Yeah, it really has. But I think what we've found is getting people to kind of break that stigma of self-publishing, and it helps that we're both designers and photographers by trade, and so we're proud of the product that we come out with. But
Definitely.
When Kim's talking to buyers at different shops and stuff, we definitely get that kind of, oh, it's self-published, and so, but I think they get it and see it and understand
Once
what we're trying to do.
Once they see it,
here.
I always have to be like, but it's beautiful, it's high quality, I had an editor, like it's not just like I didn't slap it together. And once they finally see it, I think that they bite. But it's been a little bit of a challenge. Yeah,
that's interesting. So you go to bookstore owners?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and even if I went with a publisher and wasn't self-published, that's sometimes what you have to do because there's so much competition in the market.
Right.
Their shelf space is so tiny, and so you have to do something to sort of get people to notice, your book. And I mean, so books come out usually on Tuesdays, and the Book Larder is a local store here, and they've really focused just on food and cocktails and those kind of things. And I was lucky enough that they actually posted about my book, but I think I was one of like 8 that came out just that day. So yeah, it's a saturated market for sure. But
we definitely did have a freak out moment when we saw it on Book Larder's Instagram.
Yeah.
Then I was actually there a couple days.
It's
real.
real, yeah.
And I got to see it on the shelf. I was at an author talk a few days later. Book Larder does some great, brings in some great authors and different stories and stuff. And
maybe we can get Book Larder as a sponsor here pretty soon.
I think so. But seeing her book on the shelf was just one of the most like amazing experiences.
I no doubt.
The friends that I was with, because Kim actually wasn't there that evening, and I'm just like, come here, let me show you this. Let me show you her cocktail book, and pulled it off the shelf. And then it was like, should I buy this so they can get another one?
I think the most exciting moment for me was when I got the first hard proof in and watching Bobby and see his photography. And that was when he was like, oh, okay.
That's
like,
real.
This is a real thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like we're just shooting these photos and it's kind of a pain in the butt because we're moving around our living room and, creating all these situations. But to see his face when he was like, oh, wow, my stuff looks really good. That was, for me, the most exciting moment.
Right. Awesome. I'm going to kind of diverge off script here for just a little bit because I had a different question. And unfortunately, it's for the creative folks in the room. So, Jen, sorry.
I'll listen.
You are creative in multiple ways, but not in design. Is this your first book that you've actually put together, whether it's for a client or for yourself? Is this the first venture?
Yeah, it's the first book. I've done a lot of publication design, but this is my first book. Yeah, and it was like also kind of a goal of like I want to design a book, and so as you can see, my bookshelf has a ton of cocktail and cookbooks, and so I just it was a great excuse to buy them all for research.
Yep.
Of course.
And just out of my stupid curiosity, did you use like Adobe InDesign, or what was your software of choice for putting it together?
Of course I did. Absolutely. You know
I
that.
know. Okay, I'll quit talking
What else
design
would
talk,
I
Jen.
do?
I'm just going to leave.
We could just diverge the whole night into like the design nerd side of things. On the photography, it was, it was interesting because we, like Kim was saying, we photographed this all in our apartment. So we've got a small apartment here in Queen Anne, and it was a matter of literally moving like couches out of the way and being next to the good light. And Kim did an amazing.
That's the part I could talk all night about.
Right.
Yeah, good light.
Yeah.
And Kim doing all the styling, and we were, because we kind of, do some of this, in our day jobs, it's like, okay, we're going to do this right. So shooting, tethered onto a big iMac so we can have a, big view of what we were shooting. And Kim was doing the amazing styling, and we were able to like just do a lot of, shots and stuff and figure out the angle that we wanted. And,
Also, let's get real though. Bobby would be like, you moved it 0.5 centimeter. I'm like, no, but now it's good. Oh,
Now
wait,
you need
hold
to
on.
see a little bit more of that one in the back.
Exactly. Yeah.
all of which, is a beautiful.
I wish I could have been here for that.
It was a beautiful sunny summer day, and I'm like looking at my bike, going, "Can I go ride yet?"
Yeah. We had to do a lot of negotiating with but it's true because we're in Seattle, and so there's only so many months we could actually shoot with natural light. So that was another challenge too.
Yeah.
Because you got to do it in the after work hours probably. So.
Yeah.
Weekends, yeah.
So did you, here's my.
Yeah. Are you going to ask about the software that he used?
No, I was going to just ask about the styling. Did you do like all the drinks that you wanted to put on the wood table with the black background in one day, or did you do multiple setups in one day?
We weren't that organized. No. This was like over, I don't know how many, probably 2 years of shooting, right? And it was about, sometimes it would be like, oh, I'm going to make that batch cocktail for a party tomorrow. So I already have it. Let's shoot it. Or sometimes it would be, like not all seasons or not all fruit is available all seasons, right? And so it would be like, okay, strawberries are in season. We have to do the things with the strawberries.
Right.
Or citruses or blood orange or whatever is in season. So we have to do those. So it was really based on that kind of stuff, like what's available. And also like, I'm kind of feeling like having a margarita tonight or tomorrow or whatever. Let's like throw that together. So
Yeah, I love it when she would just like, I threw this drink together. Can you photograph it? And it's just like, okay, let me go get all the gear out. Hold on.
3 hours later.
Exactly. While I'm watching the light go away at the same time.
That was challenging.
I'm going to rewind here for just a second because I had put a pin in it in my head. You said you like getting signatures or autographs in your cookbooks. What's your most prized possession that you have for cookbook with an autograph in it or a signature?
That's a really hard one.
She's looking at her bookshelves, by the way.
I think
Why don't you say yours? How about that?
Okay.
I
mean, it's definitely like they're signed for her, but you have one from Ethan Stoll. We were eating up at How to Cook a Wolf, which is this great little restaurant up here in Queen Anne that we kind of call our neighborhood restaurant. We walk in, they know us, they had us some champagne. It's great. We just happened to be there at the bar, and we look over, and Ethan Stoll's eating there with his friends and family, and we kind of whisper to the bartenders like, "Hey, do you think he could sign a book for us?"
Because we hadn't bought the book because I don't think they were signed, so I was like waiting for that.
And the bartender's like, "I got you." And so he kind of goes away, and we go finish our dinner, and all of a sudden Ethan Stoll comes over and says hi and has signs the book to Kim and covered it. He gave us the book. It was just it made for a neat evening.
Wow.
It was a really special.
Awesome.
It was a really special moment. I would say that one is really special to me, and I really like the memory attached to it. And then I also have to say, like Renee Erickson's book, I just have such huge affection for her because it's not easy to be a woman in the industry, and she does it with such grace, and she's so successful, and everything that she opens sort of is just like beautiful. And so I just have a lot of respect for her. And so that one I would say is really.
So who would be your go-to cookbook when you guys are just
Most
hanging out?
used?
Yeah, the most used that you're just like grab off the shelf all the time and you want to.
I mean, I have to be honest. We do a lot of Blue Apron, Jim. Yeah.
This podcast sponsored by Blue Apron.
I mean, because it's easy. No, but I would say we use the Renee Erickson a lot. She has an amazing roasted chicken, which I actually put it on the blog, and I mean, gave her full credit, obviously. That one's really good.
We love making the spicy rice cake dish from.
It's a cookbook from the chef at Jewel.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
Jewel, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Did we go there once?
Blanking.
Okay. No, I'm thinking Revel.
Oh, Rebel.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Ask me why.
are they the same owners? I can't remember. Sorry, you might have to edit this. But same, very similar food, and the rice cakes are amazing. But they're definitely a labor of love. We actually made them one Valentine's Day, and it took like, I don't know, half the day or something like that. We had to go to Wajimaya to get the ingredients because you can't find it in the regular store.
That's
and
fun, though.
Yeah.
It was really fun. It was really fun.
I love
experience.
Wajimaya.
Yeah. I always lean towards like Pioneer Woman. I love her cookbooks. I love her show. You know, she just makes good old, Southern comfort food, or and so that's who I kind of go after. But
We actually, one of my favorite cookbooks is local. It's put out by the Junior League of Seattle. And we use a lot of their appetizers. I guess that's probably the most used section of that
nice.
one. But it's fun.
yeah, that one's been kicking around in our house for a long time.
Yep.
I know
Early
we've gotten
marriage.
really off track here and not talking
No,
about
I love
Kim
it.
and-
No, this is a wonderful.
Food and
but,
drink related.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is all about, right?
And people are going to want to look all these things up probably. So.
Yeah. We'll put the links on the
Yes, we
website.
will.
Yeah, I don't know if I can dig up the Junior League of Seattle, but
Oh, I bet.
yeah.
I'll find it.
yeah, those juniors are actually probably in their millennials, or
I don't
in
know
their-
the Junior League is necessarily youngins. So
I don't know. I don't know anything about the Junior League. That's just what comes to mind.
society, ladies.
It's a society of juniors like myself.
Brum-bum. Psh. Looking back at over the last several years, what is something that you would have done differently as you've been putting this together?
I think I probably just would have focused more. I would say the last probably 6 months, I almost killed myself trying to get everything done. And I just kept thinking, oh, just one more photo shoot. I kept telling Bobby, actually, we just have 2 more photo shoots. And then be like, well, now we just have 2 more photo shoots, and I mean, I think I just would have been a little bit more aggressive in the beginning. I still don't regret spending that 6 months putting together a proposal because I think it was still worth it. But I just think I just would have been a little quicker and faster in the beginning. And knowing now that, there's only so many months we can shoot photos as well. I think we would have timed things a little bit different, but I mean, all in all, we work day jobs, we have full-time day jobs. So I'm pretty proud that we were able to do this in the amount of time. I mean, some people that do this for their full-time job take a few years to write a book. So I'm pretty proud of what we've done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely, there's definitely some nights we got home and, because we have creative jobs that get, stressful and demanding, sometimes you don't want to come home and be in front of a computer and think, and so there's nights we did have to take off, but then it's like, okay, let's make that up, this Saturday, let's shoot, a certain time period and we'll see what we can get in that time period.
I think the other thing that I struggle with a little bit is, okay, I have a social media following that I'm trying to grow so that I have these, basically customers that are sort of there. Then I have a blog that I'm trying to keep up, and then I have a book that I'm trying to produce. And so at some point I just had to say, you know what, sorry, blog, I got to put all my efforts here. But it is a lot, especially when you have a full-time job and you're not able to think about this during the day. But it all worked out.
I know exactly what you're meaning there, because getting this going, getting the podcast going, and there's only so many hours in the day, and it kind of creeps into my day job, and so I understand how it's hard to juggle kind of the different worlds. So what do you wish you had known when you started out?
That's a good question.
Now that you've actually finished the book and everything.
Well, maybe part of it was that self-publishing is a viable way to go.
Yeah, it's definitely hard for sure. I don't really know. What about you, Bobby? Do you have
I would say we both struggled with and continue to struggle with this idea of imposter syndrome. It's like, you were crafting the book, the recipes, styling, me doing the photography, we're always kind of the back of your mind, like, are we really good at this? Do we know what we're doing?
I think as creatives, we struggle regardless.
No matter what positions we're in, working for big brands, doing campaigns, I think you're always, as a creative, struggling with, there's something
completely
better.
Valid.
There's look at this Instagram feed with their cocktails, look at this styling, and it's always a struggle. And
hopefully you had enough friends or people reviewing it telling you, no, you're nuts. This is fantastic.
Yeah,
And
because I have actually never seen a book like this. So I was actually pretty excited to get it for
we're
one.
going to absolutely use this.
Yes, absolutely use it. And then I was looking on your blog as well. I don't know if they all translate into the book or not, but I felt like I was noticing things that were on the blog that are not in the book.
Correct. Yeah.
And I was like, there's not enough days in my week and my year where I'm going to be able to do all of those drinks. But it actually just kind of started me. Oh yes, we're going to do this one, and we're going to do this one. So it's actually a pretty exciting book. It's very visually well done. It's got this hot pink.
My signature color.
Yes, your signature color. So it's actually very.
We'll have to talk more about that.
Yeah,
should.
Afterwards.
And this again, going off script here a little bit. I bought ours on Amazon.com. And I believe when I looked on Barnes & Noble as well, because, you got to price compare. And they said that it was online only. Are they actually in the Barnes & Noble bookstore? Is there plans for that? What's the scoop on that?
So the book is available, it's internationally available. Usually what will happen is you have to actually ask Barnes & Noble. You go into your physical store and you could ask them to order it for you, or any bookstore, any independent bookstore. Right now, it's not on the shelf that I know of. It's not something that I have a lot of visibility into.
Sure.
But it's also I know Powell's in Portland.
Oh yeah.
You can get it on their website as well, which is really exciting.
Yeah, love Powell's.
So I think for me, the next step is okay, the physical book is out. Now I need to go and try to get more shelf space and talk to these different retailers and see if I can actually get physical space, not just have it, available online.
Yes. Wow. Some of the research that, Kim really dove into, and there's not a lot of information out there on how to really self-publish a book and how to get it out there. And so one of the things that she did do is use a particular company to do the kind of on-demand printing, but it's also the company in which pretty much all the bookstores out there, large and small, order from. So by doing it and printing it through this company, she is available for bookstores
internationally
distribution.
Yeah, to order from, and so it's pretty great. Versus we went and print through a particular printer, and we've got a room full of boxes, and we're trying to get them out there.
You don't have to have those on hand.
Yeah.
We only have half a room full of boxes.
No, that's true.
How's everybody doing so far? How's your beverages? Are we still doing all right?
We're doing good.
Okay, I've been slowly slurping at mine here, so. And this is great because this will be on the mic too, because everybody's ice cubes are
Nice big ice cubes.
I try to be quiet when we're not talking about them.
Just want to make sure in case we need to pause, because here in a little bit I'm kind of getting down towards the end. I might have to stop the recording, do a bio break, get a refill, come back.
Okay.
You guys that are listening won't know the difference because it'll just seem
It's the magic of the podcast.
It's the magic of the podcast, but there'll be a good half hour between. No, I'm just kidding. So my next question is, what kind of research did you guys do? And when I think of that, I think of you guys, hoofing it out to all the local bars and everything like that, trying drink after drink after drink. Is this one going to make that? And I want to, deconstruct this drink and figure it out. And so what kind of, where did you, how did this
make a lot at home?
Yeah, no, exactly. So I guess what started this is partly what started this passion is I wanted to be able to make a perfect drink at home. So going to bars is great, but then, you have to drive home, all that. Sometimes you just want to cozy up on your couch on a rainy winter evening and have the perfect old fashioned.
Yep.
Yes.
So,
Word.
So what would happen basically is we would go to bars, we'd have drinks, and then I would come home and be like, this is amazing, and try to recreate it like right then and there, and like, take my notes, and so I had that, and then I would sort of like, test it and just kind of keep going. And that was with like more of the classic cocktails. And so the book has about half of the recipes are classics that you'll, find everywhere, and the other half are my own originals. And so yeah, so it was really fun.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, so it was really fun to experiment with just some fun things, or take basically a riff on something. One of my favorites, which because I'm a big nerd, is called the Picard.
I saw that on the website.
Yeah. And so basically, because I'm a big Star Trek: The Next Generation nerd and Captain Picard fan and Patrick Stewart fan, and I really, really love lavender and Earl Grey tea. I wanted to create a cocktail. Yeah, in his honor. And so I had actually done this. It wasn't actually originally for the book. I did this a couple of years ago and just had to put it in the book because I thought it was fun and quirky. And so, but that just took a ton of research. Like, am I going to infuse the bourbon with the Earl Grey? Am I going to put it in the simple syrup? Or how am I going to do it? Like, what flavors are too overpowering? And so it was just a lot of like trial, like in my home, and research sort of in my home. And then obviously I would do a lot of research online, like, okay, there's 1,000 ways to make a Hemingway daiquiri because, yeah, I know you guys are just talking about that. Really, yeah. But because, originally Hemingway wanted like a ton of rum and like one shot of Luxardo liqueur, and that's it, which would taste disgusting.
That's the cherry. The maraschino cherry liqueur.
Yeah, but it would taste disgusting to all of us. And so people have sort of improvised and they've kind of made it their own. So the ingredients are mostly the same, but like every bartender has their own kind of take on the proportions. So I learned a lot about that. So then I had to figure out like what is the way that I think that it should be, or like my favorite. And so that just took a lot of, testing in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We also pretty much bought every cocktail book that's out there.
Yes.
I mean, you see our shelves behind us. I mean, they are full. So it was definitely, looking at all these books. How do they lay it out? How do they talk about the recipes and proportions? What is our potential competition, when it comes to this book, around batch cocktails, and a lot of it is just belling up to the bar.
Right.
We love sitting at the bar, even at restaurants. It's just the two of us. We can always seem to get a seat at the bar, order the same food, and just have that conversation with your bartender. And it's just like, watch them work. Watch them. What are they sampling? What are they trying? What are they mixing? What are the interesting cocktails on the menu? What is the liquor? What is the spirit you've never even heard of? Get that cocktail and try it, understand it.
Yeah.
And we're coming from this place of just utmost respect for the work that bartenders do, and so that's kind of just like just getting to befriend them, and especially the places we go a lot, and just kind of we've got our bartender friend up at How to Cook a Wolf who's making some of these amazing shrubs. And, so we'd go in and get to try some of his shrubs and his new creations and stuff. It was always really cool.
And for those that, like me, that have absolutely no idea what a shrub is, what's a shrub?
What's a shrub, Kim?
It's basically taking different types of fruit and vinegar and kind of creating this like infusion. So it has a very vinegar forward flavor. What's really interesting is bartenders and chefs have started taking what would have been the waste of like fruits, like you've squeezed a grapefruit or a lime, and now you're just tossing it away. Like they'll take those remnants and then they'll basically age it in the vinegar and create this shrub. So you don't have to do it like that. But
I totally thought it was involving herbs.
Well, you can't. I mean, I think that they put a bunch of different things in that, but yeah, it's basically. I mean, you'll such a see it on the menu. Like, start noticing, like they'll just do like shrubs and sodas,
or mixed in cocktails.
Yeah, or they'll mix it in cocktails. So I think it's not something I've explored personally or done at home, but I think it's really fascinating.
Right. Yeah. I love how the conversations kind of organically weave through here. One thing I wanted to ask you guys: have you ever gone to Zigzag at all?
No.
Do you know Zigzag?
Wait, which one is that?
Zigzag is on Harbor Steps, and it's kind of this
kind
little
of in the market,
kind of in the market area at all.
Oh wait, is it under the market?
Yeah.
It's kind of kind of down the stairs and under the market.
Yes.
And it's this kind of little cozy bar.
Very dark.
Very dark. they years ago when I was first kicking around in Seattle, the top bartender was at that. He's passed away since then, but what he loved doing was he would find these old bartending books with old recipes and try to revive these old classic drinks. And the one that I want to ask you guys if you've ever tried it, but it's called The Last Word. Have you ever had The Last Word at all?
I haven't.
No.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Very earthy. It's had chartreuse and gin. Very fantastic drink. I can't remember what else was in it, but put a pin in it, because towards the end of the questions that I've got here, I want to talk about bartenders and favorite bars around town and that sort of thing.
But about that guy though, I mean, that he totally was successful in bringing that drink back.
He did. And next thing you know, everybody, and I went to like New York and East Coast and asked people if they could make The Last Word, and they knew exactly what I was talking about. But
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like one of the things that I struggle with a little bit is not, but just personally, and going back to like imposter syndrome, is not coming from this background. Like I waited tables and all that in college or whatever, but I've never actually been a bartender. And so, I'm approaching this book not in a way of like, hey, I already know everything about cocktails and booze and how to take it to the next level. This is really about like, you're in your home, you're an average Joe, and you just want to create a really good drink. And so that's kind of how I approached it. And so it's not necessarily like for people who are experts, but people that are just getting into it or just want like, extra ideas of how to, batch a drink, basically. Yeah.
Yep.
And tip your bartenders. Tip them well.
So when you were putting the book together, did you guys go on any sort of pilgrimages where you heard of this drink existing somewhere and you had to go try it out? Certainly friends were like going, you guys have to go try this place out and get this drink.
We were on a bit of a tiki kick for a while because there is this fun kind of cocktail bloggers in January do Tiki the Snowy Way, and this is actually one of our first times where we were like really photographing for the blog was for Tiki the Snowy Way, and we were like trying to generate content almost for a daily basis, and so we were trying all of these great tiki drinks, and some involved fire and crazy stuff, and having to figure out how to photograph that.
So tell me what a tiki drink is.
Oh no, you can answer that, Bobby.
No,
I think he was asking you.
I feel like it has rum in it or something.
Yeah, tiki drinks are generally rum based. There's some pretty famous tiki bars. We have some of their books, which I'm totally blanking
Smuggler's
on.
Cove.
Smuggler's Cove.
Smuggler's Cove is the book that I consider the tiki Bible, and I had never done tiki drinks before. I'd done other things, but it's a little intimidating because there's usually like 12 ingredients.
Whoa.
And stuff you can't pronounce, like orgeat and falnerum. And
Oh my goodness.
Let alone find, right? Where are you going to find that stuff?
Yeah,
We got it now.
It's not too hard
Amazon.
to find. Yeah, exactly.
right.
But that's kind of the tiki Bible for me, and so we would take that book to the store and be like, okay, what rum do we buy, and what liqueur do we buy? And so we were lucky enough the last time we were in San Francisco to actually go to Smuggler's Cove, so that was kind of mecca for us. But I don't know it's necessarily research for the book. This is just our lifestyle.
yeah. It's not like we're all of a sudden into cocktail. We're always going to cocktail bars or
It's
having
like,
good drinks at restaurants.
Let's just there's a fun new bar. Let's
if we're traveling, like we were in LA last October for a big creative conference, and it's like, well, what are the top cocktail bars we need to hit? And we hit some cool ones and some of the really trendy hipster ones that we had to like check out that everyone was talking about, and realized, this is all show, but sometimes you find those spots that are just know how to make a good drink and without all the over the top fanfare and lines at the door.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Smuggler's Cove needs to be a destination if we make it to San Francisco to visit Stephanie and Jack.
We'll definitely be making it to San Francisco, so Smuggler's Cove.
Yeah.
There's
Get
some
ready,
great
Steph and
ones.
Jack.
Yeah, Steph and Jack, get ready. We're going to go to Smuggler's Cove. They live in North Beach.
North Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. There's a couple of really great ones in Portland too. Like, so for listeners in Seattle or Portland area, there's
Hele Pele in
Yeah.
Portland was amazing.
It's
I've
really
heard of
good.
that place actually.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Never been. Heard of it.
Vancouver has some good ones.
Tiki.
Tiki drinks.
Yeah. I can't remember the actual original question, but yes, tiki was something that we've.
Just pour lots of rum in it.
It was
Research.
the pilgrimages,
The pilgrimage,
going places to far and wide.
Yes. Oh, and
have.
tiki. It's like what's really strange is it's hard to actually define tiki. It's like it doesn't have to be rum. Which, if you read the Smuggler's Cove book, or there's even in the Death & Co book, there's a few tiki cocktails, and it's not always just rum, but like that's what people associate most with it. But there's a lot of times like spices and fresh juices and things like that. But yeah,
Mini umbrellas.
Mini
Yes.
umbrellas, fun glassware.
I like the fire. That's my favorite.
The fire was fun.
Yeah.
The fire was a pain in the ass to photograph.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Yeah. So back to Liberal Libations, your fantastic book. How was your energy level? Was it exhausting putting it together, or was it energizing?
It was so energizing, which is sort of would seem counter to the fact that I would, have a day job and then come home and do this. And that's why I knew I just had to do this. And this was a project for me, is because it was so exciting. It was so just invigorating and exciting to do that. I was creating something for me, for people that are like me, that, want to have a good drink at home or want to know how to batch it for, a party of their friends. But it was just really, really exciting to do this and to work with my lovely husband of almost 20 years, 19 years.
Wow.
You're only a year ahead of us.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But just to have that creative project with him, and just to know that like all of our energy and love went into this, it was invigorating. It didn't ever feel like a job.
Yeah.
So it was amazing.
Did you guys get married when you were like 12 or something?
Yeah. So in Texas, there's a law you can do that. And
Why am I not
you
surprised?
don't need you don't need a parent's signature. No.
Shotgun. Yeah.
No,
I get it.
we were. I was. Well, I don't want to say because then you'll know how old I am.
Well, that's all right.
I was 18.
We were very young.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
A decade later.
Yeah.
That's, when we get married.
So the publishing process, I know you self-publish this. I'm curious of that experience of self-publishing it and actually getting it up onto Amazon and Barnes & Noble. I'm a novice. I don't know anything about it. So I'm just kind of curious of the process of getting this published and in the marketplace.
I still feel like I'm a little bit of a novice. I'm still learning a lot, but I think what the benefit of going with the company I did, and I'll just say their name is Ingram Spark, not to necessarily plug them, but the reason why I went with them is because they do just offer that distribution. So I didn't necessarily have to do anything to get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or all these places. It would just kind of came with that process. But up until that point of like, having to figure out like how to get it on the Library of Commerce, because that was really important to me. Like wanted this book to be registered and just be a part of history.
Have its own ISBN number and blah, blah, blah.
How to get your ISBN, how to get your barcode, how to get, registered.
Were they a resource for that? This place you went through?
No, not really. No, I just did a lot of Google searching. There's a lot of blogs out there on how to do it, and people that have done it before. And so, but every day it was just like learning something new, and
everything that you would learn would unravel. Oh, I also have to get this.
Yeah.
Oh, I've also got to do this. Oh, this has to come first.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was a lot of like cart before horse. Which one do I start with? But I feel like I'm still learning about this process and like how to just get it out there and market it and everything like that. Even though like I do that for a day job, it's somehow weird and different when you do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all good info to share, even if you're not saying, oh, go through this company that you used. But I mean, if we have listeners that, have thought about writing a book or self-publishing, that gives them some starting points.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I eventually want to do a blog post about like how to go through this process, because
people can search for it,
Yeah.
Yep.
And just figuring out the cost of things was a big thing, because figuring out what the price per book was, how much when it's through Amazon, how does that all break down? When it's ordered through us, how does that all break down? And just understanding your costs so that you know what kind of you're investing and what you're getting into.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question for you, Jim.
Okay.
Real quick.
Am I buzzed? Yes.
No, that's not it. Well, I'm just thinking, when you publish the podcast episodes,
Right.
are there hashtags and keywords that people can search for?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so that's another way.
Yeah, that's a place because all of my stuff's online, so it's easy to do that kind of thing. So back to your book. There are other cocktail books out there, obviously. We've talked about that tonight. And things that you're fans of. What do you feel like sets your book apart from other cocktail books out there?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And that's something I definitely had to like really think about when I was, putting that proposal together, like how it was going to be different. And for me, there's amazing cocktail books out there that teach you how to do like the single cocktail, and there's some really, really amazing batch cocktail books. Maggie Hoffman is one of my favorite batch cocktail book authors. She's out of Portland. She's an amazing woman. I admire her in every way. But the way mine is different is every recipe has not only the batch recipe, but it has the single. So maybe you're at home and you just want to make a cocktail for yourself, or yourself and one other person. It's really easy just to multiply 2. But if you want to have a party for 30 people, this is how you have to scale it up, because all of that math and that conversion from milliliters to ounces is actually really difficult. And then how much fruit do you need to produce this much juice? And,
For sure.
And so that's really what differentiates my book, is not only the batch, but then, also just having that single cocktail when you...
I appreciate that, because there's so many great different recipes that I hadn't heard of before. I'm going to want to make them at home, and we're not having a party, so
exactly.
I don't want to do the reverse math.
And you want to test it if you are going to have a party. Like, am I going to like this? Or other people going to like it? So.
That's the funnest part, is testing.
Of course.
Yes, we do a lot of testing. One of the other things I really like, the way Kim set up the book is, it really is geared for the home bartender. So in the beginning of the book really goes into setting up your home bar, like what bottles would be really good to have on stock, and she kind of breaks that down with her favorites, as well as some of the different mixes and things that you would potentially need. She gets into barware, like what's the right shaker versus a stir, and when do you do that, the different tools and stuff, the different glassware, and then really also starts to break down into like simple syrups and the garnishes and embellishments and stuff that you would do to make this drink beautiful.
When you talk about craft ice, that's a thing.
Yeah, and it really sets the tone for the drink. So when you have a party and you just have these beautiful drinks and it's got these gorgeous accents and things and the right glassware, it just sets the tone for what you're trying to create.
I have to say that, there'll be photos up on the website of the Paloma that you guys made. And what was interesting about that is the ruby red grapefruit slice, as opposed to the ruby red grapefruit slice that we got. We called it the suburbanite ruby red versus the towny ruby red. But it was so cool because the rind on your grapefruit is this nice yellow, and it contrasts so well with the actual fruit of the grapefruit that it makes the drink just actually fun to look at and beautiful. So I don't know why I brought that up.
Thank you.
Blame the alcohol.
Well, that's what happens with two art directors doing anything.
That is
art direct the
true.
shit out of anything we do.
It is true. Yes.
A little side question, and again, this is off script, because I notice you have this wonderful little mini bar back here, and it looks like it's got wonderfully, curated booze on there. I see Campari. I've got Campari in mine.
And Saint Germain.
And yeah, Saint Germain's wonderful. What we end up finding is we end up amassing this crazy amount of alcohol because we're trying this out and we're trying that out. And the next thing you know, we've got like 40 bottles of alcohol in our collection. And it was great for a while because what was it? You could get on Buy and Sell,
or Buy Nothing group.
Buy Nothing group on Facebook, and we would actually give booze away because we were trying to thin out our collection.
That's
now
amazing.
You can't give away, you can't do booze on Buy and Sell
This
Nothing
is
on Facebook.
disappointing to
I
hear.
know. It was awesome.
Disappointing.
It was awesome for all parties involved.
I don't think we've ever given away a bottle of booze.
but
Really?
I was in the same second excited and then saddened because I thought I had this like new place to go to get booze.
to look
you
for
can
booze.
pass that over. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what was the...
We don't like vanilla vodka. Somebody brought it over for a party. It's like,
That's fine. You can throw
stuff
it in
like
the trash.
stuff like that.
Sorry, Mom, if you're listening.
Does she like the vanilla vodka?
That's like her new thing. She's never really been a drinker, and there is a recipe in the book that she really loves and kind of dedicated it to her. But no, she's into the vanilla vodka right now. But you know what? Again, like if you like
Do your thing.
it's cool.
Right. Just beware that whipped cream vodka gives you a huge headache.
Ooh, yeah. No, let's not go
That's a
there.
no.
That's the reason why a lot of those don't work for me either. It's just,
man.
not good.
Here's another question for you. What did you end up editing out of the book?
There were a few recipes that I kept kind of going between and like switching out at the last moment. So, gosh, I'm blanking on the one that I switched out at the very last moment. The painkiller. there was a different rum drink, and I was like, I really just want to do another tiki drink. I really just feel like this one fits, and it's really easy. It's like a pina colada, but not as intensive to make. And so that was like a very, very last minute ad. I could have.
And that was a good ad because I love that.
Yeah, Bobby loves it.
I love me a pina colada.
So it's very similar. But I could have made a book on just tequila and bourbon. I really had to edit
Those are
myself.
my two favorite. Well, whiskey and bourbon and tequila.
Yeah, I had to really edit myself because I could have, just added so much more. But I was trying to balance the chapters out. So that was like a little challenging, So maybe there's like a second book somewhere in the future, or not just maybe the blog. But yeah, that was the kind of the process. It was just hard to like edit those kind of recipes.
Cool. Miniature lightning round. Whiskey or bourbon?
Rye.
Oh,
Frosé. That is the one story Kim always tells. They're like, well, what drink does Bobby love the best of the whole book? And she's like, it's the frosé.
I would like make these really amazing cocktails, and he'd be like, that's all right. I'm like, no, but it's so good. He was like, that's fine. And then I made a frosé one day, and we went up, like, it was kind of a cool story because like I made
So explain
it.
to the listeners what a frosé is.
Okay, it is a frozen rosé.
Okay.
So it's become pretty.
So literally a frosé.
Yeah, you add a couple
Yeah.
other things to it to make it delicious, but
Like tequila.
no.
Okay.
Strawberry simple syrup, a little lemon juice, not much, right?
Oh, I dig that.
Yeah, it's really delicious and like great for the summer. It's like an adult slushy.
It's
Yeah.
a little slushy.
But
Oh,
so,
I can tell you about adult slushies.
yeah.
I just love it.
And Bobby was just like, this is the best thing you've ever made. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever made? Really?
I mean, we're also like on a boat, middle of Seattle summer,
Which is, like,
Lake
perfect, but-
Union, drinking a frosé.
So it wasn't
part
my
of it.
drink you were
This is the
saying.
perfect-
It
This
was
is the
the
perfect
scene. It
cocktail
was the
for this
perfect
moment.
scene.
Yeah. I know we're talking about cocktails, but do you guys drink wine as well?
We do, of course.
Yeah.
And
all the
have you
time.
been over to Walla Walla? That's my hometown.
Oh,
And so it's like a wine mecca
yeah.
as well.
did
Have
we-
you not been there
We
yet?
drove through on the way here. Was that where we drove through?
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
Eastern Washington?
Yeah.
Yes. On
Yeah.
the way here, we drove through all those like beautiful vineyards and
Oh, yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a winery there. Give a shout out to my buddy Crandall because he's one of the owners of the winery. It's called Plum Cellars, and they make the best frozen wine slushies.
Oh, nice.
And so
They make so much money on those things, you guys.
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, they make a red wine slushy and a white wine slushy, and there's just nothing like it. So the frosé kind of reminded me of that. And so, Crandall, if you're listening, you owe me for the plug. So
That's
We,
Plumb.
not to necessarily, well, I am going to plug another winery, but we have really good friends that they have a tasting room here in Seattle, and they're a couple of years old, and they make some of the best wine. It's called Alul Winery, and they have been winning all these awards.
how do you spell that?
Aluel. So it's like Alex and Alul, or Alex and Samuel put together.
Oh,
So it's
nice.
Alul. Yeah, it's really cute.
All right, we'll look that up and put the link on the website.
But they've got, they're just doing some really great things, and they're really
Where's their
putting in-
tasting room at?
It's in Cap Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really delicious though.
Right on.
I was really impressed. So
All right. Cool. So being, an author of a new book, and this is like a girthy book. I mean, it's not just this kind of like, it's like a real
It's a
nice,
hardback.
solid, there's lots of words in it. I flipped through it, I'm curious, did you hide any secrets in this book that very few people would find?
like Easter eggs.
Yeah. Is there any Easter eggs in the book?
I mean, I think that there are some little, like some of the stories are Easter eggs. Like some of you may get or some you may not.
Gotcha.
Or some are very personal. So if you're the person that it's sort of written or geared toward, then you'll get that little nod. And if not, then you'll just, like, do you want me to tell you one of them?
Sure. Yeah.
So
You hear it here first, folks.
So the perfect touch, it is sort of I made this recipe on a video tutorial for like a holiday one time, and my mom and my aunt, they were in the kitchen. They were like, "Oh my God, we're making this thing!" They called me and they were really excited, and they were like, "We love this cocktail," which again, it's like really cute because my mom's not really a big drinker, but she was like, "This is so good," and so basically, I kind of it kind of reminded me why I got into this. I really love like the connection that's built when people get together and like build a cocktail and drink together and have this moment of camaraderie. And so that was really exciting. But I called it Perfect Touch because my mom and my aunt have this cute little game. And they've my aunt and my uncle, they used to like live abroad and they traveled a lot. They were in the military. So my mom and my aunt hadn't lived in the same city for a very long time. And so they would play this little game where they would like write touch on these little pieces of paper and like fill an envelope and like send it to the other person. And they would open it and there were like all these little pieces of paper that said touch, you know, like when you kind of like touch someone, just kind of mess with them like sisters would. So they've been doing this like their entire adult lives. And so that was just sort of like a little homage that only they would necessarily get. But
Sure.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great story.
I suppose people that know you personally would see Easter eggs in the glassware and the accents you use. Like I've already seen this gold pineapple accent here with the obvious friend.
Yeah. A lot of, there's some friends of mine that are like, oh my God, I have that glassware. Oh my God, we have the
You
same.
have great glassware in here.
Thank
You
you.
have all of this here.
I
We do. It is
unfortunately.
squirreled away in every little crevice of this apartment.
I'm going to go back to the question where you said, what would you wish you known or something like that? How much of my apartment space was going to be taken up by glassware?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. that was-
Glassware, trays, large format pictures,
Yeah.
you know, things like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So what's your go-to glassware place?
Good question.
The estate sales.
Yeah, estate sales
Oh,
are great.
nice.
Goodwill, Value Village, those things are great, especially for like the more vintage looking ones.
Oh, totally. Some of these, the champagne looking glasses.
I love Crate and Barrel.
That's what I was looking
Yeah,
for.
I love
See, we
them.
love Crate and
Crate
Barrel.
and Barrel, CB2, even World Market, like the glasses
Yeah.
you guys are drinking out, the margarita looking ones are from, World Market.
Yep, love World Market.
Yeah, but there is like in the very back of the book, there's a resources page. So it tells you a lot about the things I use. So whether it's glassware or serving trays or beverage dispensers or, different
Bar tools.
Yeah, different things like that, like where to get those things.
What is, and this again is off script, but what is like your go-to, what bar tool can you not live without?
The hand squeezer, like the juicer, like the
Okay, yeah,
that one.
I get that one.
Use it
Yep.
all the time. I mean, obviously, like your shaker, your stir, all that, but like I use that so much because I use a ton of fresh juice. Yeah.
And again, another off-topic question here. I notice, and you probably have too, as you've been going through different bartender books, there is a significance between stirring and shaking.
Yes. Definitely.
Elaborate.
I can for
Okay.
sure. So any drink that has fresh juices, you need to shake.
Okay.
It helps all the ingredients sort of incorporate really well together. But if it doesn't have fresh juices, that's when you want to stir it. And there's you can use whatever to stir it, but really like the bar spoons and the bar stirring
Wands.
Yes,
Yep.
they
Pro tip here, folks.
yeah, it just makes it faster and easier.
Awesome.
And so yeah.
And you look much cooler at parties.
You do, yeah. But like really professional bartenders, they do this thing where they can like stir it and like really quickly in a certain way, or then they also can like shake 2 shakers at once. They're amazing. I can't do that yet.
How are you guys doing?
Doing
Doing
great.
all right?
Doing great, yeah.
All right.
It's fun.
I did want before we move on totally from the glassware, I just had to go back the Black Manhattan on page 50. Those are some sexy glasses right
Thank
there.
you. That is Crate and Barrel.
Are they really? They
Yeah.
look vintage. It's a whole vintage
Yeah,
look there.
they're
but
so fun. And like I'm so almost scared to use them because I'm afraid I'm going to break them all
They
the
look
time.
delicate,
But they're
but
very
them
fun.
But see, that photo is a great example of where we're using, modern, glassware from Crate and Barrel, a small pitcher that we got from an estate sale.
Oh.
The wooden piece was a artisan find, like at a
Vancouver,
Vancouver or
Portland?
Portland. So it's just kind of mixing all these pieces together to create
Yeah,
a style
that's awesome.
and look and feel.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. We're looking at it right now. You guys
Can
aren't.
a drink look sexy? 'Cause-
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
That
Well
book is
done.
full of sexy looking drinks.
Well done.
Yeah, thanks to Bobby and his skills with a Z. He's got skills.
I just point the camera and shoot. That's all. Kim,
Right, that's what they
Kim
all
styling.
say. That's what they all say. Kim, did you have any mentors as you were putting this together? Was there anybody that you were looking towards at all, or
I mean,
did you lean on anybody for support? Or
besides my husband,
Yeah.
he's amazing.
Well, he's the number one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely had some times when we were working on these photo shoots and we're trying to get the styling together, and there was some moments where we're just both completely struggling, where it's not coming out with the way that we want it to look, we want it to feel. And there was, full transparency. There were some times we're doing these photo shoots and we were just like, this is not working. We were frustrated. We were
probably very hungry. We learned that lesson. Don't shoot photos together when you're starving.
And we would kind of just like snap at each other and give up. And then we started, I think the more we got into it and started to do this more and more and start to understand the right angle, the right kind of style and light, and we would struggle, and Kim would be struggling with the style. I'd come in and let's just completely try something different. Let's change the angle up. Let's move the whole thing around. And we'd kind of just begin to bounce off each other and
Pinterest. Yeah. Also Pinterest and Instagram was our friend, just like researching. There's some really amazing bloggers out there, that take beautiful photos, and, they have a ton of content. And so I looked a lot at their stuff and how they were shooting or lighting or whatever, just to get inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So at this point, have you already Googled yourself?
No, it was really funny when you were like,
I'm doing it now.
What did you say? You were like, I saw some, something online about you, and that kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's very fun, but also strange.
Mm-hmm.
I know, you don't Google yourself every day?
No, I know, but Bobby does a lot. I think he's like, oh, there's 5 pages of me.
Mm-hmm. I think I was 10.
And he does a Google image search and is surprised to what he finds.
But you'll find a lot of your images out there, though, won't you? Like, that you've taken?
A lot of event photography and stuff.
Which is pretty
fun.
fun.
Show up,
yeah. Looks like you've got a creative site that comes up first.
Yes, so my portfolio site.
Good SEO.
And then your Instagram.
Nice. Well, that's good.
Right on.
Yeah.
So what was the most difficult part of this book? Was it telling Bobby that his photographs weren't cutting it? Or you reshot all of the photos yourself, didn't you?
By myself, yes. When he wasn't home, no.
It was like Dave Grohl, recutting all the drum tracks for that first or second Foo Fighters album, and it's like, they're okay, but no. I'm just busting Bobby's balls. That's what we do at this part of the episode. There
was a couple of photos where Bobby was like, "We've already shot this," and I'm like, "Yeah, but we shot it for the blog." And I'm like, "I'm using fake ice cubes, and we can't put fake ice cubes in the book. We have to reshoot it."
Do you think people would know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would know.
You would know, and that's what matters, right?
I'm an overachiever,
ultimately.
right?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like difficult wise, like, just like the self-publishing stuff is just like learning all of that process is really difficult. Just because it's, out of my wheelhouse. It's not something I do all day. So that was just a new challenge, but I mean, it was kind of also fun to learn all that stuff.
I think for me, what I struggled with is because we do this in our day jobs, and we do have experience like art directing photo shoots and being on these big, productions, TV commercials, big photo shoots for big clients. It's kind of hard because I expect that same level.
Bobby wanted craft services at every one of our shoots.
Yes, I need my craft services.
In our home. I'm like,
open
the fridge, honey. Open the fridge.
So it's like I know too much is the problem. So it's like, I need this special tether cable. I need this thing. I want this particular lighting, and it's I'm wanting to make sure it's on par, because I know kind of just what the end product will be with the right tools and stuff. And so it's hard to scale it for home use.
I always had the vision, because like, I don't know if any listeners, like if you ever Google like behind the scenes, but most people are just like, like, I don't know, glue and taping their like sets together. It's all crazy, and it's like random things that they're using for bounces and lighting and whatever. And even though they might be in a giant studio and we were in our apartment, like they're still doing the same hacks. So I had the vision.
That was kind of fun. We started adding some of that content to the blogs and behind the scenes on these photo shoots, just showing the people reading our blog, this is like kind of what it looked like when you actually like step out of the photograph. It's like you see all the random bounces and things that we've set up to capture light and style the shot.
Awesome. So you guys mentioned earlier you were talking about that you would talk to bartenders up at, what is it? How to Kill a Wolf.
How to Cook a Wolf.
Cook a Wolf.
I guess you have to kill it first.
Yeah. How to Cook a Wolf. And so you obviously have relationships with local bartenders and whatnot. Did you talk to any local bartenders as you were putting this book together? And was there any advice given? Or did you like say, hey, you got to try this recipe out that I created and need to add it to your menu? Or what was
Yeah, so I was really nervous to do that because again, like I see those guys as experts. They do this every day. This is their profession. There's one bartender. His name is Jermaine Whitehead, and we met him at the Whale Winds Renee Erickson restaurant, and kind of followed him when he moved to Bateau, and then he actually opened Deep Dive, which he was like part of that whole bar program and built it up, and he was on the cover of Imbibe last year, and so we had built this relationship with him. We liked following him and like chatting with him. He taught me how to make the perfect old fashioned, but I was so intimidated to ask, like, hey, do you have advice? I'm doing this thing, because I was so scared that they'd be like, well, who are you? You know?
Right.
One of the hardest things that I did was I asked for endorsements. So I contacted him. I contacted Joey from How to Cook a Wolf and a couple other people and said, hey, would you read my book and give me an endorsement? And it made me so nervous, and I was so scared to do that, but they were so gracious. And so I do have their endorsements, but yeah, it was
sending. It's called an advanced reader copy, so it's like it's not the final piece, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
like
all these
stuff
typos.
was still like there was typos. We were still getting like layout finalized and images in there. So it's really hard as a creative not to send out your final piece, but it's like, okay, here's this work in progress. Yeah.
So I didn't. I'm meticulous about research. Like I did so much research and just like cross-reference things, and but I was really nervous to actually go to people who do this for a living. You know?
I get that, and I bartended for to supplement my income when I was making $8 an hour as a fledgling graphic designer way back when, 27 years ago. There are multiple levels of bartenders. Some that take it very seriously, some that don't take it seriously at all. So we've come across some recently that just blow my mind. Are there favorite bartenders that you have here in Seattle that just completely blow your mind at their artistry?
Yeah.
And I don't say that as a joking way. There are some that just literally boggle me.
Yeah. I would say the two that I mentioned. So Jermaine Whitehead,
And where's Jermaine at?
So, I cannot remember. He moved to a restaurant in West Seattle. It's the sister restaurant of Il Corvo, and I'm blanking on the name of it.
Okay.
But he helped build out the entire cocktail program at Deep Dive,
Yeah.
which
I was just there last night.
Yeah,
Okay.
amazing, right?
I got put in the stripper corner though.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking
no,
about?
I don't.
It's called the lounge. It's like right when you're
walking in.
When you're walking in,
Oh,
you
that's
don't
no
actually
fun.
get.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, we ended up leaving because it was so dark. I couldn't even. My eyes are so bad now, which is probably good that I'm senior director of creative. I don't actually have to do the design work, but I couldn't even read the menus.
Yeah.
And so we just went around the corner to, I want to say it's like Whimpering Ghost or
Wilmot's Ghost.
yeah, Wilmot's Ghost.
That's another Renee Erickson. Delicious.
Yes, Renee Erickson. And we went there, and I ordered some chicken pate, and the folks that were with me turned their nose up at it. I love liver pate. I don't know about you guys, but anyway.
What did you drink, though?
They have on their menu, now you're going to have to help me out here, because they are a bar that uses a specific type of liquor.
They use lots of Amaros, I
Yes,
believe.
thank you. That's what they use. So it was an Amaro, and it was called like a paper airplane or
paper plane.
That's a great,
paper plane.
Great drink.
Yes. So I had that.
Nice.
It was not nearly big enough.
Well, yeah.
The volume, as opposed to my willingness to spend cash,
Oh, of course.
was
Gotcha.
so I had two, and I could have drank 10.
Yeah.
They're that good. And Jen and I can attest, because we have this fixation, and I don't know what you guys are, and this is another topic. We can talk about it, but we have this fixation on probably tart. We have a trifecta, right, of drinks that are our go-tos. Palomas, margaritas, and what's the third one? Is it the grapefruit? Martini. Anything that's tart and sour, we actually trend towards. Is there something, and that paper plane is definitely very kind of a tart type of a drink.
Yeah.
Is there something that you guys kind of
I mean, I'll take a good margarita any day.
Right.
Any day, yeah. There's so I'm
Scratch
from
or...
Scratch. I mean, there's no other kind for me.
Can I tell you who makes the best scratch margarita?
You can
Other than the
challenge
one in your
me to who makes... No, but like restaurant-wise, I will hear your challenge and I will accept that.
One that I've always fallen in love with was the McMenamins.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never...
And they make them all the same way. And
All their locations.
Yeah, just order the scratch margarita, and it's orange, lemon, lime.
Oh, nice.
And then they put some simple syrup in it, maybe even triple sec, and then their tequila.
Nice.
And however they do it, it's intoxicating, literally. So,
Nice.
but yeah, that's kind of one of my favorites.
I really love Pablo Pablo in Fremont. They make they have like quite a few different flavors. I like just like the normal or the spicy. Bobby likes we use it like a ginger and
It's a ginger and
tamarind
with a spicy rim.
Yeah, but their margarita is really good. And then I always get the name of this like wrong, but was it Katrina Fonda de la Katrina or something in Georgetown?
Katrina de la Fonda.
Yeah, he said it right, not me. They have like too many names in their name, but in Georgetown they make really good margaritas, and they have good like sort of Mexican Tex-Mex food as well. So, but being from Texas, I've had a lot of people say to me, "Oh, I make the best margarita," and usually when bartenders say, "I make the best margarita you've ever had," it's going to be terrible. So I'm always like, "Okay, well."
What are your favorite Seattle area watering holes?
Let's see. That's a good question. I mean, where do we like to go? I mean, there's some great ones like down in Pioneer Square, like Damn the Weather.
Didn't they close?
No, Damn the Weather's still open. Yeah. What
about here on Queen Anne? Is there a place that you guys just like to walk to? Or
How to Cook a Wolf is great. Eden Hill Provisions just opened, which is like a fun little restaurant / bar. That's kind of really all we have up here.
You guys ever go down to Agave at all? That's right by KXP across the street.
Oh, we've been there like once.
Yeah, Mexican restaurant.
It's not really on our radar.
Yeah. Where else do we go? There's some great ones in Belltown. We like Rob Roy. Rob Roy is a great craft cocktail bar.
Yep.
There's so many ones popping up in that area too, all the time that it's like hard to keep track, but there's a lot of great ones down there. Yeah, a lot of times we just make stuff at home, or we will like go out to eat dinner and we'll have like a great cocktail. It's not necessarily like
it's less like going to a bar, going to like a really great restaurant and having a good cocktail with dinner.
Yep. I think one thing that really this book that you've put out there really lends toward is drinking at home. And that's something that I actually love doing. I love creating cocktails at home. I love sharing it with friends, and creating that atmosphere. Much what you guys are talking about is just kind of that community a little bit, that you're kind of creating around this and sharing with friends, much like you've done with us tonight. So, favorite Seattle restaurant?
How to Cook a Wolf. It's got to be like
we're gonna have to try it.
Yeah, you have to. Well, so we have a really awesome story. It's not just why we like How to Cook a Wolf, but it was just a really cool story. So when we were up here, when I was interviewing for a job, I got flown up here, and we were downtown. We were walking around. We were like, okay, there's this How to Cook Wolf place. It's like a mile away. We'll walk. It's a good walk, but like whatever. And then we'll have dinner. And so what we didn't realize, it was on top of like the largest hill in Seattle. So we huffed it up, and all these locals are passing us like they're like, just like speeding, like running, but they're just walking, and we're stopping and whatever. So we finally get to the top of this hill, and we go to this place, and we sit at the bar, and we had literally the best meal and the best experience.
And every time we go back, we have the best experience.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the last times we were eating there was some Italian winemaker who had just flown from Italy because he was doing a tasting there, and we like
just kind of hung out,
drunk with him at the bar, and he's like buying us drinks.
Come to Italy, visit me.
Literally eating food off of his plate, and we're sharing things. It was just awesome.
The best.
Yeah, it's like when you have those like fun experiences out of nowhere. So they're definitely one of our go-tos. We like a lot of the Ethan Stoll restaurants. He just makes the best pasta. It's like amazing. How can you go wrong?
Yeah.
And of course, like the Renee Erickson. We also love like Jewel, which is really great. Lots of Thai restaurants that we like to go to, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I mean, Jack's Barbecue, because this Texas boy has to get his barbecue.
Yeah. Do you ever go to Drunky's Tushu?
I've been to Drunkies 2 show. I was really sad to see the goats go because I like the little goats in front. But Jack's Barbecue is like if I want that.
I've heard great things about
Texas barbecue.
Jack's Barbecue. I haven't been yet.
You
But
should go.
Recommendation from a Texan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
And-
love me some good barbecue.
They've opened up a South Lake Union location that has breakfast tacos in the
On
mornings.
just Saturday and Sunday, everyone.
Is that what it is?
And
Okay.
they're open at random times
You guys are
serving
killing me.
those breakfast tacos. So call before you go.
The only
But
breakfast tacos
Brisket.
that we like.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Approve of.
That was I was at South by Southwest last year, and
so
I had to
awesome.
get some good,
Yeah.
authentic barbecue.
man.
there.
I'm jealous.
We
It's
just
been
don't get
years.
it. We just
No,
don't
we
get it
don't.
up here. So, last regular question here: how much is too much to pay for a drink when you're out at a bar?
Okay, it depends on what city you're talking.
Seattle,
It's all
right here.
like, scalable. Okay, so I would say, I mean, it's
What do you look at where you go, oh my god, that's too fucking much?
it's ridiculous, you guys. So the average drink is now like $14 to $16,
Right.
which is so crazy, right? Like
I saw 17 to 21 last night
Oh my
at the places that I
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah.
earlier.
I think if I'm in like a fancy mood or I'm celebrating,
sheltered.
and there's like sometimes there's like that $25 like smoked old fashioned. They do some fancy thing in front of
Cloche
you.
over there, yeah,
Yeah, like I'll go for that. But the thing is, like, you can really only have one because if you go for two, you're like, what did I just do? Like,
Right.
Dude, I can buy a shirt for that.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Or I can buy a
exactly.
whole bottle for that.
exactly. So that's again, I mean, I can do that at home.
Right.
But yeah, that's like the top of my like level. But yeah, I mean, like 12 to 14, I think is like reasonable in this downtown Seattle area for the prices they have to pay for rent and like paying people a living wage, all that. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So with the lightning round, are you guys ready?
Let's do it.
We're
All
ready.
right, here we go. Tapas or pasta?
Tapas.
Pasta.
Pasta.
All right. Ask permission or beg forgiveness?
Oh, beg forgiveness, 100%.
I want to be a big forgiveness person, but usually I'm going to ask for permission.
And this is my balance. This is me as well. And so we're the same balance because I know that you're ask forgiveness.
Oh, yeah.
And I would usually be a
But I aspire to be a
A rebel.
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
wish I
rebel
could.
to the end of my days.
I get it.
Yeah. If the toilet paper roll is really low but not completely out, do you replace it or leave it for someone else?
This is a daily fight.
Like how low though? Like is there how many squares are we talking?
Well, are we no? So
There's enough for one ass wiping
Okay.
when you clearly need 3.
Oh no! You use that little piece. You leave the roll on there.
wastage. There's
and
no
then you
wastage.
start using the Kleenex box that's sitting behind you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's wasteful to discard.
Me
like,
too.
Yeah, a few, like a you know, I don't know.
This is why I leave rolls
A
sitting on the
reverse-
back of the toilet.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
that's the backup roll.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I changed your toilet paper roll, by the way.
What was that? You think you?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Was it empty?
Well, I used the last of it.
Oh well, I appreciate that
Because there was only a couple of squares
But
left.
I wasn't sure if my husband left it empty and then made our guests actually replace
There was
it.
like
so.
this much. You can cut that if you want
Okay,
to.
this isn't much of a lightning round, but anyway, how many redheads are you friends with?
Oh, I think a lot. Like a lot. I don't know. I feels like
It's a
wrong.
bizarre question,
It's
isn't
a
it?
bizarre. I feel like is that wrong to?
One.
No,
Yep.
I'm just gonna say like 6.
Like real redheads. I don't think any.
Yeah, I don't know many gingers that I'm like very close friends. I do know several.
My last job, we had 3 in one office. It was weird.
They're special people, just so you know. I'm not calling them out as, sideshow, character or freak show or anything like that. But, just curious. I may cut that whole thing out. Who knows?
You're gonna lose your redhead viewership.
Right. What's the type of triangle with 2 equal sides called?
Parallelogram.
No.
This isn't my no.
We're art majors.
yeah, this is math or something.
Jen's already seen the
I
answer.
looked it up.
Yeah, I saw Isosceles.
Wait, what?
Isosceles triangle.
Okay.
So 2 or more equal sides. What's your favorite carnival food?
Corn dog.
Kettle corn.
Yeah,
Baked potato.
baked potato.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Don't they have baked potatoes?
Carnival
What
food?
carnivals are you going to?
Are you
Yeah.
talking like maybe it's county fair type carnivals?
I like the corn on the cob on a stick with the just dipped in butter and you put salt on it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's back up to this baked potato.
What
How do you
Thinking
eat
like
the baked
Evergreen
potato?
State Fair.
What
in a little
comes on
paper
it?
in one of those little paper boats.
And paper
Am I
boat?
wrong? No.
Does it have toppings?
Yeah.
Is it deep fried?
No.
Well, then it's not carnival
I
food.
think it would be called French fries. No, we don't. No, don't.
There's
don't
no judgment. I'm
yeah,
just
don't feel bad about your answer. Don't let
Yeah,
Bobby feel
I don't
bad.
go for the typical stuff. So.
The stuff that's
no
the
elephant
craziest.
ears. That's gross.
No, the elephant
Funnel
ears are
cake.
great. I like all that
So-
stuff. The deep fried like Snickers bars and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Have you had those?
No,
Oh.
but you guys like elephant ears is a not. We didn't know what that was. We had to like Google that. Like that's
Really?
like a very sort of Pacific Northwest thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were like, what are people eating up here at carnivals?
We're all about the churros down in
Oh,
Texas.
churros. Love the churros.
Is this like fried? Like, is this like chicharrones? Are people actually frying pig ears? Like,
Yeah.
what? Or
I mean, it could
elephant
be,
ears?
yeah.
Like, what's happening?
Oh no.
Are you guys Disney fans at all?
I mean, well, now they own Star Wars, so
Yeah. Have you been to Disneyland at Christmas time?
no.
Oh.
No.
I've heard it's magical though.
It is magical, and they also unleash 50 different kinds of churros that are Christmas themed, and they're dipped in all these kinds of different flavors. And
That sounds amazing.
Peppermint candy.
When
Yeah,
you
peppermint.
said unleash the churros, I just imagined a bunch of people in churro costumes
So did
just
I.
running
release
full
the
speed,
churros.
Like they're having a marathon
like
through
zombie
Disney.
movie 28 Days Later style, just taking out Disney park goers.
I want to see that small film.
I do want to
think
see
we
that short film.
Did you guys order Disney Plus?
should- No.
We are going over to a friend's house who has Disney Plus so that we can watch
The
latest
Mandalorian.
Star Wars show.
But
Good for
no,
you.
we subscribe to way too many.
Yeah, us too.
Yeah.
But I did subscribe.
it.
Yep, to subscribe. Is that the right word?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's extort.
Extort. Yes, it's definitely
All
extort.
my money.
It's the pineapple rum that Bobby gave me that's hitting me.
Oh,
So I'm
Stiggins
driving-
Plantation pineapple rum.
Yes, I'm going down the road. So, name a word that starts with the letter Q.
Quark.
Q. I mean, I'm like literally from Star Wars, Star Trek. Like we're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking like in the scientific term, but
You
do
were not.
It's an astrological term.
Yeah.
That was sorry.
Quasar.
Sorry, that was terrible.
Is
Dude.
sorry.
I mean, I was thinking queen.
Sorry, that's where my head
Q is
goes.
a hard. Yeah, that's a hard letter.
Yeah, I might have to actually edit that one out.
Qdoba.
Qdoba.
Discount Chipotle.
It is. It is. But it's good. They have good.
Discount Chipotle.
They do have good queso.
They have free queso.
Mm-hmm.
There's that.
Climb a mountain or jump from a plane.
Oh, jeez.
Climb a mountain
Is
and
there
then mountain bike down it.
Are there snacks at the top, like wine and a picnic?
I
would
don't know.
do that.
What's at the top at Everest?
Oh,
Death.
Death.
Poop and death.
and poop and death.
can I choose another activity?
I'm just gonna say no.
Yeah.
Just
Can I
I've
go
always wanted to jump from a plane, though. I think that would be
My
fun.
sister went skydiving once, but can I just go like snorkeling?
If you were feeling really hungry, would you eat a bug?
No.
No.
How hungry am I?
Like, pretty hungry.
And am I
Like-
is there
like-
food available?
Like this is
There are
this
bug
is,
foods.
Like dinner will be ready in 2 hours. Hungry
Like if there was
Or
a,
you're gonna die
if
you
there
don't
was a
eat it.
grub that was deep fried sitting in front of you and it looked delicious and it was like had Parmesan sprinkled on top of it and you were like really hungry and nothing else was available, would you eat that?
I would eat that if I wasn't hungry because it's deep fried. I would
Okay,
eat that.
well there
and,
you go.
And it has Parmesan on it.
Yeah.
No.
Did you go to summer camp as a kid?
Oh, this might be a whole other segment. We went to Christian summer camp.
Oh, I worked
Together.
at Christian summer
You
camp.
did?
Yes.
Oh,
we were dating.
We might need a whole segment about
and we would get busted because we were making out. at the
Christian summer
beach.
camp.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked up on Hayden Lake, Idaho, which was unique because the large summer camp that I worked at actually our property bordered up against the Aryan Nations Church that was also located up there on Hayden.
Wow.
I've got some good stories there, but that's another episode. But yeah, summer camp. How long can you hold your breath for? On your mark? Get
No.
set.
Oh my gosh.
Go.
That's not the right
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
Like objectively, how long can one hold one's breath?
No, it's like how long can you hold your
Is
breath
anyone
for?
counting?
No, I'm not
still holding
counting.
my breath.
He's still holding his breath. We're going to move on to the next
We're very
one.
competitive.
A minute and a half.
Have you ever seen a kangaroo in person?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Park Zoo.
Oh,
I'm still holding my breath,
sure. But he's talking while holding breath.
only breathing in.
There's a great Saturday Night Live skit out there about a kangaroo that visits their house instead of Santa.
All right.
So look that up.
Okay.
It's Hugh Jackman is narrating the story, and it's
yes.
very, very funny. Will Ferrell is the unwitting recipient of some specific kangaroo loving.
Santa kangaroo.
How
Yeah.
have we not seen this?
And who is the kangaroo?
I have no idea who is in that costume, but
This
you
is
know.
exciting. This is happening after this.
Yeah,
We-
you'll have to
Will
look it
Ferrell,
up.
we're in.
You'll have
It's
to
very,
post the
very
link.
funny. Yes, I'll post the link. So when people stand up for a standing ovation, are you usually one of the earlier people to stand up or one of the later people?
The absolute very last person
I'm
begrudgingly
like,
stand
son
up.
of a bitch. I guess I'll stand up.
Yeah, I'm pretty lazy, and I'm like, did these people really deserve it? I mean, what did they do? Yeah,
Yep. Same. Unless I'm like totally in love with it, which
but also like it's really awkward if you're in the front row because you're like, what are people standing? I don't know what to do, and you can't be the asshole that's not standing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of
It's
pressure.
it's a social pressure
audience
thing.
peer pressure.
Yep.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you for answering the lightning rounds.
Those are good.
Guys, it
fun.
was fabulous talking to you tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Are there, yes, absolutely. Are there any upcoming events that you want to plug at all?
Sure, yeah. So I am actually, I don't know if it'll come out in time, but I'm going to be at Gobble Up Seattle this coming Saturday, book signing. It's a really cool like food market event. What else is happening? I'm having a book party on December 5th. And I think that's about all. Yeah,
Yeah.
so far.
All right, and let's talk again in closing here of where they can find your wonderful Liberal Libations cocktail
Beautiful
book. Beautiful book.
Yeah, if you want a signed copy, you can get it from liberallibations.com. It's available also on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any... like.
You mentioned Powell's. We do have
Powell's?
listeners in Portland.
Oh, yeah, Powell's. You can
Yeah.
get on Powell's.com or any local bookstore. You can go in and ask them to order it for you.
Awesome.
And the best thing to do is order it for your really right-wing Republican aunts and uncles.
Frighten them.
And so then they have a book on their, their counter, their shelf that says liberal.
Liberal Libations. And it is Christmas time, and so this would make a perfect Christmas gift for those alcoholics in your life.
Just alcohol.
Yes, so
Alcohol
order
fans.
5,
Alcohol fans.
10,
Yeah.
however many.
Right. And finally, is there anything else that you want to talk about? Is there anything that I forgot to ask you? Or did we cover it all?
Is there anything else? Should we talk about the name? I wanted to give a shout out to my friend Perry, who actually came up with a name for the book.
Not only the name for the book, Liberal Libations, was a great name,
Yeah.
great play on words, but also your blog,
Yeah.
Random Acts of
Yeah.
Comfort. He can just spit
He-
out some of
he's
the
like-
great turn of phrase and
he's-
words and
Super creative guys. Like him and his wife Angela are like our best friends, and they've been super supportive of this whole journey. But yeah, it's like people have asked me like, how did you come up with a name? I'm like, I can't take credit, So
And shout out to them. In the book, they are the House of Underdown is the cocktail dedicated to them.
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome.
Love it.
Alrighty. Well, thanks again for joining us on the Disturbin the Burbs podcast.
Thanks for having us
Yeah.
and letting
This
us
was really
disturb the
fun.
burbs.
Thanks
It
for
was-
leaving the burbs and coming up to
Yeah.
QA.
You
Yeah,
bet.
our first remote
Yeah.
podcast. So it was a lot of fun.
We're like kind of the burbs, but still
Oh, we're not the burbs.
in downtown.
You're not the
No,
burbs.
this
We're
was
not the
smack
Burbs.
downtown.
We had to park. We had to parallel park.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.